Hey, I'm Chaplain Tim Boyer, and I'm applying for the Air Force Reserve Chaplain Corps today. And I'm so excited to let you know a little bit about my story. Um, so, what led me to apply to be an Air Force Reserve Chaplain is, most recently, I'm an Air National Guard chaplain over at the 189th Airlift Wing at Little Rock Air Force Base. I also happen to be the Military and Family Readiness Program Manager over at the 913th Airlift Group, which is a reserve component. The problem that I'm having is the Air Force Reserve component for my civilian job needs me on drill weekends, and the Air National Guard also needs me on drill weekends as a chaplain, which I absolutely love doing both of these jobs. And so I run into this little bit of a dilemma where, I can't be two places at one time. And so I thought trying to apply to be an IMA chaplain would be a great way for me to be able to continue to serve in the capacity as a chaplain while still being able to fulfill my obligations to my civilian duties. The way that the desire to become a chaplain goes way back. I grew up in base chapels, kind of like this one right here, but a little bit older. I grew up in base chapels. I learned about God. I grew my faith. I was baptized by a military Air Force chaplain in a base chapel at age 12. So the chapel and the chaplain program runs deep in my heart. I absolutely love what we do. I love the opportunity to minister. I love the opportunity to lead. I love the opportunity to serve our country. And so that's what ultimately, from a young age, started me with wanting to be a chaplain, was the involvement and the engagement I learned and saw from chaplains as a kid. And then once I became a chaplain, the reason I want to come to the reserve component is because the IMA offers an opportunity for me to continue serving, and I would rather serve for another 10, 15 years maybe than have to retire in a few years because my jobs are not compatible. I just absolutely would be devastated. I really want to continue serving my country and serving our airmen as a chaplain. So that's why I'm applying to the Air Force Reserve Chaplain Corps. So I first got into ministry back in 2006 as a youth pastor, volunteering with my local church. I did that for several years. Then I was a maintainer at the time in the Air Force, enlisted. And then I PCS'd over to Luke Air Force Base, where I continued to serve and continued to minister to the youth there. I finally got my degree, my Master of Divinity. I became an IMA chaplain assigned to Holloman Air Force Base in 2017. In 2019, I got a civilian job at Little Rock Air Force Base, and they just happened to have a chaplain position open in 2019 at the Air National Guard, the Arkansas Air National Guard unit, the 189th Airlift Wing. And so I've been a chaplain there ever since. Some of my chaplain experience has been, or pastoral experience, I've deployed to Jordan as a chaplain. I did some amazing ministry there in the country of Jordan. I also have done 2 MPA tours as a True North chaplain, covering down for the 314th Airlift Wing and filling in those True North spots, which was such a great opportunity to embed with the units and really get into what the Chaplain Corps is about, which is being out there embedded, like really working with our service members. So it was a great opportunity for ministry. I'm grateful to have done it, and that brings me to now where I hope to continue ministering. I occasionally guest preach at the base chapel at Little Rock Air Force Base, and I'm hoping to continue my ministry as an IMA chaplain with the Air Force Reserve. So here's hoping. Hey, one of the most challenging things about being an Air Force chaplain, in my opinion, is that you've got other chaplains, wing chaplains, you've got bosses, there's a hierarchy in the military, and you don't always have the same idea of what would be best for the ministry. You don't always have the same idea of what would be the best for your chaplain office. And so you have to understand the way the military works in the hierarchy and be willing to sometimes bow. You can talk and you can share your thoughts and what you think is best, but you also have to understand that, there is a hierarchy. It is the military, and sometimes you have to do what your boss says, even if it's not necessarily what you believe would be the best use of your time. that is a challenge. I mean, that's a challenge in any job, but it's, I think, particularly a challenge when you're very passionate about something, which most of us chaplains are very passionate about our ministry. The absolute best ministry team that I've been a part of was during my deployment to Jordan in 2023. I had the most phenomenal team working together between the Catholic priest, the wing chaplain, and then myself, our RAAs, our religious affairs airmen. Man, they were amazing. We went out, we did some great ministry. We did, my job was, I served in the function of the deputy wing chaplain. I didn't have the grade yet to be a deputy wing chaplain as an O3, but I performed the job duties, which gave me a lot of experience that I wouldn't otherwise have. So I understood CTOF, as a guard chaplain. I learned CTOF. I learned how to manage programs, how to document, all kinds of stuff. It was phenomenal. Not only that, but we had the opportunity to take people out to the Holy Land. So we got to take all these airmen out as a team. We got to bring them out to see the place where Jesus was baptized. Some of you probably been there, honestly. But Mount Nebo, we got to take them to, and I personally baptized 37 people. After doing a thorough review and instructions and all that stuff, I got to baptize 37 people in the Jordan River. So that by far, and that's definitely based on the support I had from my team there. So it was phenomenal, and I'm so grateful for that opportunity. So I've now been in the Air Force for about 19 years. I actually plan to retire probably in about 10 years or so, give or take, if it all goes well. I could retire within about 2 years, as an officer, but my plan is to stay a little longer term. So I'm looking at another 10 years or so, retirement, and then we'll see where God leads me. I have some form of ministry, but I just don't know what that calling is yet. So my personal core values match perfectly with the Air Force core values because literally my personal core values are the Air Force core values. I've had the Air Force core values with me for the last 19 years, and they're so very much connected to my faith. Service before self. What did Jesus show us in washing the feet? Excellence in all we do. We're called to excellence as believers. Integrity first. Like, is there really any question that that's a faith-based value, that's a Christian value? Hey, I just want to say thank you for giving me a chance. Thank you for getting to know me, and I hope that I get to work with you guys in the future. God bless.